Gervonta Davis needs to fight Vasily Lomachenko to be considered one of the greats at 135, and here's why. We have a guy like Devin Haney who has gone up to 140, had a great debut at 140 pounds against Regis Prograis, who we all know is a credible opponent, but let's be real, he's not the most skilled and high IQ fighter in the sport of boxing. He was a champ, don't get me wrong, that's something that shouldn't just be ignored and tossed off to the side, but we also know that styles make fights, and I think that against Devin, he was outmatched. So for Devin to be at 140 and Tank to still be at 135, what can Tank really do to prove that he's the best, especially if he's not going to fight a guy like Shakur at 135, at least not in his next fight? I think that Vasily Lomachenko has to be at least one of Tank's next opponents. If it's not the first fight back, because we know that Kambosos and Lomachenko are going to be fighting each other, the winner of that fight should realistically be fighting Gervonta Tank Davis, and I don't see why not. If it's not Shakur Stevenson for the winner of Loma and Kambosos, it should be Tank, and Tank needs that signature win against a real credible opponent. Ryan Garcia was a big name, but he wasn't really a credible opponent. We need to see Tank clash with a style that is going to potentially give him trouble. Not to say that Ryan Garcia wasn't a dangerous fight for him, but I just think Tank was, it was a mismatch. We all knew Tank was going to win that fight. We gave Ryan a puncher's chance, but realistically, no one was betting their money on Ryan Garcia unless they were big fans of Ryan or they just had that feeling that he might get lucky. But realistically, you can't take those odds with a guy like Tank, because Tank is so calculated. He barely threw any shots, and the first shot that he threw dropped Ryan Garcia in the second round when Ryan Garcia got overzealous, got overconfident, and felt too comfortable, and that's what Tank does. But we still need to see that signature win from Tank, and I don't think we've seen it yet against a real opponent. I think that you could say that Devin has had his clear, Kodak moment against Kambosos and Loma, because those are credible opponents. Those are real fighters that, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say real fighters, because Ryan Garcia is a real fighter, but real tricky opponents, I'd say. I'd say Lomachenko is as difficult as it gets when it comes to the 35 division. When it comes to testing that new guy, and I think we wanted to see Shakur fight Loma, but Loma didn't seem to want the smoke with Shakur, so we got to see Tank and Loma. If Loma goes on to win this fight, he can make a lot of money, especially now that the Prime deal with Top Rank. I don't know how easy that fight would be, but I think Loma and Tank is a fight that people within the real boxing world have been talking about for a long time, and it's a fight that we never got to see. I know negotiations might not be the easiest, but I think that's a fight that has to go down, especially if Tank intends on staying at 35. And if he goes to 40, then he has no other excuse but to fight Devin. And honestly, he wouldn't have earned that. Like, the only way he's earning it is because he's such a star, and I'm not taking that away. That's a big part of it. In the sport of boxing, it's a business, and if it makes money, it makes sense. But realistically, if Tank wanted to go to 140, I'm sure he'd be able to skip the line through Devin's mandatories, and he'd be able to get that Devin Haney fight, but he'd have to go to 140, and I don't know if he's ready to make that jump just yet. But if Tank's not ready to make that jump to 140 and he intends on sticking to 135, he has to make big fights happen, whether it's, Frank Martin could be at the bottom of the list, Keyshawn Davis can be at the bottom of the list, but we're waiting for the Vasily Lomachenko fight, because I think Loma's going to beat Kambosos, even at his age right now. Maybe a little bit of a competitive fight, but I have to give the edge to Loma against George. But after that, if Tank's not going to fight Loma, he's got to fight Shakur, because those are realistically the biggest names at 35, and we'll see what happens, because we're hearing rumors about Tank coming back to fight in the sport of boxing at 135 in the month of March of 2024. So that's coming up real soon. We haven't realistically heard anything. We've heard Tank's having a bit of trouble in terms of, the judge letting him train the way he wants and start his training camp the way he wants. So it sounds like they're having a little bit of complications, but hopefully Tank's able to figure all that stuff out, because there are a lot of big fights for him that, he's kind of missing the action, because right now is the time to make these fights. Now that Amazon Prime is now the home for PBC fights and Al Heyman, I feel like Tank has to get active as soon as he can if he really wants to keep those fans and keep the name going, keep the stock rising, because it's going to be there. He's going to continue to have fans, but he needs to capitalize on this moment where it's a pivotal moment for the sport of boxing, where we're making the transitions to majority streaming platforms as opposed to just regular TV, cable, pay-per-view buys. So it's different now, and I think that we need to see Tank in there with the best, whether it's a Vasily Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson at 135 pounds. I'd love to see the Loma fight just because I've been waiting for that, and Shakur is still relatively new to 135 pounds, but it's still a great fight for him and Tank. But if he can't get that fight, if Tank doesn't want Shakur right now and maybe wants to get him at 40, then, make the Loma fight happen, because Loma's not going to 140, I don't think. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Lomachenko and Tank, who do you guys have in that fight? I'm probably going to lean towards Tank just because he's more in his prime right now. Loma's great. He's just definitely on the decline, in my opinion. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that good stuff. Hope you all have a great New Year's. Enjoy the holidays. Thank you guys for the constant support, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
That's going to do it for another NASFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.